Welcome to Wine Wanderings. Today we have Southern Glazer's Texas State Mixologist, Shaun Meglen with us. Welcome, Shaun.
Hey, Trish. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure having you. Shaun is with us today to discuss lower alcohol cocktails, and we'll demonstrate making one. Shaun, tell our subscribers at Wine Wanderings what you do at Southern Glazer's to begin with.
So I'm the state mixologist for Texas, which basically means that I help build beverage menus and cocktails for different bars and restaurants across the state that might not have the resources to do so themselves. I also help train staff and keep our internal employees educated as far as our products and the new trends in mixology.
Great, thank you. Hey, tell us about the emergence of no and low alcohol cocktails.
Yeah, so we've seen a big surge, especially recently with the last few years in mind. People wanting to drink a little bit healthier, perhaps, maybe extend their evening a little longer by having alcoholic beverages that have a little lower alcohol in them. So instead of having just two big boozy drinks, you can actually have 4 or 5 of these sort of low ABV drinks, like a Aperol Spritz or something as a great example.
Great idea. And especially I would think in dry January times, you see a lot of that.
Yeah, dry January, you even jump into the no ABV cocktails just to avoid the alcohol altogether.
That's right. Lots of people doing that now. Well, what will you be making for us today? And let's go ahead and get started.
Great. Yeah. So today I thought we would explore a twist on a classic cocktail. I'm sure we've all heard of the Manhattan. Rye whiskey and sweet vermouth with a little bitters. So what we're going to make today is called a reverse Manhattan. And essentially, we're going to take the Manhattan and flip it around. So for a Manhattan, we need vermouth first and foremost. I'm going to grab some out of the refrigerator because you should always keep your vermouth cold. We're going to use a little Foro Vermouth di Torino. This is a sweet vermouth from Italy. And some rye whiskey. I think I'll go with Redemption Rye whiskey. So instead of the normal whiskey heavy Manhattan, what we're going to do is make a vermouth heavy Manhattan. So the 2 ounces that would normally be rye whiskey, we're going to use sweet vermouth. So 2 ounces of sweet vermouth and just 1 ounce of rye whiskey. I went ahead and chose a rye whiskey that is a little lower ABV as well. Some whiskeys can get up to 100 proof or even more so. This guy is at a nice 92 proof, so we're still keeping it a little lower in the ABV world. So after that, a couple dashes of good old trusty Angostura bitters, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to ice it down. Give it a nice stir. You can do this at home with a pint glass if you've got it. It works really well. But I will say, do yourself a favor and get a nice stirring spoon because a teaspoon's just not going to cut it. Just stir that up till it's nice and cold. And then we're going to take a chilled coupe glass. You can also serve this on the rocks if that's your style. There's really no rules. And we're going to pour this just up like that. Beautiful. You see, it even looks like a Manhattan. We've got a very similar color here, only the flavor profile is going to be a little bit more delicate, a little bit sweeter, with those beautiful vermouth notes playing the star role. We're going to just go ahead and garnish that with a Luxardo cherry as per a normal Manhattan. And this is the reverse Manhattan. Cheers.
Cheers. Tell us about the cherries you use.
So these are Luxardo maraschino cherries. These are the original maraschino cherry. So it was a preservation method originally. You preserve these cherries after you picked them in the spring and summer, so you could have nice cherries during the winter months. Now we use them in pretty much any cocktail that calls for a cherry if you're trying to make your cocktails the best they can be.
Yes, there really is a difference. So Shaun, what was your aha moment that got you into the mixology business?
Well, funny enough, it was wine that got me into the mixology business. I had the opportunity to work at an incredible restaurant in Austin, Texas, that unfortunately is no longer around. But I worked under some sommeliers and a wonderful chef who really inspired me to take the service industry in general a little more seriously. And with that restaurant experience came my need to find something to gravitate towards. And for me, it was cocktails. And after that, I just sort of started running with it. And the rest has been a good trip.
Well, cheers, Shaun. Thank you for joining us on Wine Wanderings.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Trish.